everybody. My name is Tamila, and today I want to give you information about our Fiscal Institute. As we know that the Fiscal Institute was established in 2020 by the decree of our President of Republic of Uzbekistan, number 4879. And let's go. It's our administration. There has many rooms. For example, in this side, the department of the accounting. In this part, we can see the cabinets of our vice rectors. So if you pay attention to our decorations, it's with white colors, and it's very comfortable for working. And now we can go to see the teaching process. And let's go to next building. This is our new educational corpus, which consists of 6 stages. This building can fit 2,156 students, and that has many new technologies which can be useful during our educational process. Let's go. This is our lecture hall. This is our lecture hall. Consists 154 places. In this place, students can know very interesting informations, and our professors can give them more informations by using our new technologies in this hall. This building is our Information Resource Center. In this place, students, also professors and teachers can find a lot of information, books and e-books which can use it during their lessons. There is an amount over more than 16,000 literatures. That is 3,000 and 5,000 are international literary, and 5,000 are Uzbek literature, and also 10,000 are students' literary book. And there is also political strategy book. Of our Fiscal Institute are very popular with this relax zone. In this place they can relax, and also which provided with coffee. They can read a lot of interesting books. They can exchange the information. Also they can make a lot of debates.
A relatively new school. We were founded in 2020 by the decree of the President of Uzbekistan. We had to build the school from scratch, literally and figuratively. I mean, there was a kind of full-scale construction work that went on since the establishment of the school. We had to build new programs. We offer undergraduate programs right now, 4 of them. In tax administration, in accounting, computer science, and data science. As you probably saw, our facilities are brand new. All the amenities, conveniences we have everything on campus. Like for example, our dormitory is on our premises. A lot of schools cannot afford that. Students have to travel from the dormitory to the school. Yeah, I think We provide all the amenities, all the facilities that are kind of needed for comfortable studying. Like I said, the dorm is on the campus. That process coincided with the government's initiative to grant academic and financial independence to universities in Uzbekistan. So that was really, that provided kind of conditions for us to work fruitfully. So when you create a school from scratch, there are advantages and disadvantages. Like the advantages are that we didn't have to carry the remnants or the burden of the past programs, So that kind of gives you some kind of flexibility and freedom, right? Yeah. But disadvantages are you hardly have any staff. You have to hire everybody, you have to create or hire new staff, and you have to find good, qualified staff. And we set a purpose to hire people with Western degrees, which is not that easy, especially given that there are a lot of new schools that have been opening, for the last 5 or 6 years. You must know that the number of universities has doubled over the last 5 years. So the labor market for qualified teachers is very competitive. We had to compete with other schools to hire good people. So that's quite a challenge. But I think we succeeded, and I'm going to give you some indicators. There is an indicator that measures the academic potential of the academic staff, which is called, it's literally named academic potential, which is the percentage of the teaching staff that has advanced degrees. And in our school, it's over 50%. If you look at the average throughout the university in Uzbekistan, that indicator is at 36%. Okay, so we are markedly above the average indicator. And besides, we have a lot of young teachers who have got their academic degrees abroad. I would say, like from the top of my head, probably at least 15 people, which is roughly 20% of our teaching staff, which is quite a lot. I mean, look at other schools, and you can see that we're kind of we are ahead. Compared to other schools, we're ahead in that area. Well, I teach econometrics. It's a subject that is kind of combines economic theory and mathematical statistics to teach students skills to do advanced statistical analysis. And it's a challenging subject. A lot of students struggle. Before coming here, I worked at Westminster University for 13 years, and I taught econometrics there, and it was the toughest subject when I worked at Westminster. You could easily see it by the percentage of failures, the share of students who failed to kind of pass the exams on the first attempt, So it is kind of objectively the most difficult subject in economics. So the way I teach it, I try to give students intuitive understanding, not just memorize formulas and mechanically crunch numbers. I try to teach them so that they acquire intuitive understanding of what they do. When they do this, when they run statistical software, when they crunch numbers, they know what's happening when they do this thing. So intuitive understanding is very important in my view, not only in my field, but in any field, in science, in academics. You have to have clear perception of what you do, and I try to kind of instill that in my students.
My name is 𝐅𝐢𝐬𝐜𝐚𝐥 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭. I am a teacher of English of the Department of Humanities and Foreign Languages of Fiscal Institute. I began working here last year when this institute is opened, and I am so glad working here. Before the beginning our English lessons on September, we divide the students into the levels. to the levels of beginners, elementary and intermediate. Before the explaining new theme, we always use warming up activities in order to do our lessons more interesting for students. During my open lessons, I try to give my students cue cards. We'll try to do different activities, and we try to play different kind of role plays in order to understand this theme better. If the students are very attentive during the lesson, if they do their housework on time, and if they try to know English better, and if they try to do their best, I think they will get successful career in future. After working here, I began my scientific research work is connected with tax and taxation. Scientific research work's name is Pragma linguistic features of international tax documents. After working here, in summer I got my certificate of lingua skill, and I am proud of it, and my students are also taking their certificate of IELTS. For example, during the lessons, we try to improve the students' speaking, reading, writing and listening skills, and it will help them to get their certificates of IELTS or any other international certificates. If I see that my students doing their best, and if I see that they are happy to learn my subject, it gives me motivation to be an English teacher.
You have to have some quantitative skills beforehand. Before coming to our school, you have to have some kind of good background in mathematics. Your language skills have to be kind of adequate. Yeah. So those are the kind of prerequisites. Okay, and then you have to work hard, kind of maintain interest, be motivated. That helps a lot. We have a psychologist on campus, all right? But as for me, I try to, kind of tell students that there is a kind of minimum threshold they have to pass, and that can be achieved by work, okay? Like, even if you feel that the subject that I teach is not your cup of tea, okay? Even if you struggle, sufficient amount of work will let you pass the threshold. Okay, so it can be done. You know what I'm saying? It's not like if you're not good at math, then you're stuck on So there are specific things that you have to do, and there's always a chance to pass any subject. As long as you work hard, you'll be fine. The rules and regulations that govern admission process to any higher educational institution in Uzbekistan, those are kind of, they're common and apply to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We cannot kind of circumvent those rules, okay? They apply to everybody. So you probably know that, we have a state testing center that kind of sits prospective candidates and takes entrance exams. So you have to pass those tests. There are certain categories of applicants who can get in our school, but like I said, there are specific those are specific categories. Like, for example, if people already work in the tax system, in a tax body, okay, and they have certain experience, they can ask the management of the tax committee to give them a recommendation letter, okay? So there are certain categories that enter our school through, but that's a very specific group of people. That those rules do not apply to young high school graduates. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there are a few people who get in our school that way, but I don't think it's helpful for young high school graduates. In our school, we we try to expand the list of programs that we offer. This year we launched an undergraduate program in data science. Data science is a very popular subject. It has been so for the last 10 years throughout the world. If you follow the press, if you follow the data on the labor markets around the world, you can see that data scientists are the most sought after graduates, newly graduates on the labor market. There is actually a shortage of data science. Suppose you're a computer scientist, you don't know nothing about data science, but companies are willing to train you on the spot on your job because there's lack of data scientists. So we opened this program this year. So hopefully we'll have fresh data scientists 4 years down the road. Any university in Uzbekistan, not only in Uzbekistan, it's common everywhere around the world. Academic staff do not only teach, they also have to do research. They have to publish, they have to show that they grow as scholars, okay? Actually, that's, good quality research is one of the things that puts the school on the map, okay? If you look at, international rankings, the top schools are the ones that produce high quality research.
This is our conference hall. It can fit 380 students, guests, and national leaders. With them, they can discuss about important events.
And I work as a senior advisor at OECD. I work in the team which is called BEPS Capacity Building Team. It is a team of experts who work with different countries around the world to support them in strengthening their taxation framework in a way to prevent that the countries are losing the tax revenues from multinational companies, which can easily move the profits from one country to a low tax or no tax jurisdictions. In other words, the objective of every country is to make sure that you can collect taxes from companies who do business in your country, and they make profits, and you want to tax it because that's your tax revenues that can then use to invest into developing of your infrastructure, education systems. But unfortunately, multinational companies are able quite easily move the profits from one country to another. So what may happen, a company can operate in Uzbekistan and earning a lot of profit, but not showing it in the books in Uzbekistan. It can show it in the books in an offshore jurisdiction. And my team and I work with countries to help them identify these issues and also put solutions into place, mainly by improving the domestic legal framework, so changing the laws, and also training the tax officials so they learn how to apply those laws so that they can stop this behavior of multinational companies. So that's what I'm currently doing. As a part of my work, I need to work with very diverse countries around the world. On one side, it's, for example, a country like Brazil. On the other side, these are also countries in the region of Central Asia. I work closely with Kazakhstan, but also Mongolia. Basically that's what I'm currently doing. Before joining the OECD, I was working for different governments. I was working, for example, for the Ministry of Finance of Slovak Republic, where I come from, but I was also working for Ministry of Finance of Czech Republic. And I was working and practicing this work in different jurisdictions. I also spent some time in the region of Central Asia. I was working for over 8 years in Kazakhstan. And part of my work was there also working at a university called 𝐒𝐴𝐬𝐬 University, where I was responsible for establishing a tax specialization at the university so that the young people can learn about taxation and become experts in tax. why it can be interesting for young people to be experts in taxation in the context of Uzbekistan, because Uzbekistan is a country which has recently started to open to the world. You see there is more investments coming from different parts of the world, and these companies need to pay tax here, as I mentioned. And so young people like you can become tax experts either to work for these companies, to become tax advisors or tax managers, working with these big multinational companies, helping them to pay the right amount of tax in the country, and they need that expertise. Or you could work as a consultant for consulting companies, helping taxpayers to get their tax obligations correct. Or, what is the other career opportunity, I think, which is very interesting, is working for the government, working for the tax administration and as a tax inspector, and making sure these big companies pay the right amount of tax and doing the audits, cooperating with other countries, exchanging information on taxation. But also you can work as an expert who negotiates tax treaties with other countries. So there are quite a lot of interesting career opportunities in this area. And for me, this is the first visit at the institute here, and I'm quite impressed to see the infrastructure. And I can see that there is a lot of potential and the role that the institute can play in growing the next generations of tax experts in Uzbekistan, but maybe also in a broader region in Central Asia. So,
my name is 𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐜𝐴 𝐬𝐿, and I'm the teacher of Fiscal Institute in Tashkent. So I have graduated recently from the Webster University in Tashkent, and I can say from my own experience that I've been working here for quite a long time, that I love my job and I love everything here. Everything needed is provided for students as well as the teachers, and here by facility I need to mention the facilities that are provided for teaching as well as for having the classes successfully. So we are given all the laptops, all the materials as well as the equipment to teach and to work in an effective level. So I can say as well as I can say that the students are really happy with all the things that they are given, and they are studying really successfully, and so they have their classes in two levels. I mean by two levels, not only general English, but in the area of specific English as well. They are not only given the language knowledge, but they are also provided with the content knowledge. I can say that they are learning the business in English, and they have the knowledge of business language in English. They can get some jobs done in business area. So that's why I think like in other universities or institutes, this sort of this sort of study is not given, and that's not available in other like higher education systems. So that's why our university is unique in this area especially. The atmosphere is the fundamental, I think, here, because like the teachers, the staff, the authority, they're really organized and sociable people gathered in here. I quite enjoy this atmosphere, and I'm really content with all the colleagues, with all the staff here. So I love my job and I love everyone here. Like what they do it at the highest level possible. The students are given the dormitory, and that's free. I think most of the people already know this. But on top of that, they are given all the facilities to socialize after the class. Whenever they have some leisure time, they can enjoy their time with other students and have some fun. I can say that they can play football, they can be engaged in ping pong, as well as basketball or volleyball games are also available for students. I believe and I know that the students are given the chance and the students are able to proceed their working career afterwards they finish the institute, because that's sort of the facility that's provided by the institute.
I was invited to join a three-day training program organized by our colleagues from OECD Korea Tax Center. They have in place a program on training, but also capacity building for the Uzbekistan tax administration. And I was invited as an expert to deliver some parts of the training. I was especially delivering a presentation today on the BEPS project and BEPS concepts. That's the topic I mentioned. BEPS stands for Base Erosion and Profit Shifting. Effectively, it's a global problem that these multinational companies may take away the tax base from the country and move it somewhere where they don't have to pay tax on it. That's the thinking of multinational company, because for them, taxation is a cost. For you, it's an income for the country to spend and invest into roads, hospitals, schools. But for the multinational company, the tax is a cost that will reduce the profits. It reduces the dividend for shareholders. So they are doing tax planning to minimize the tax liabilities. But I work in the area of stopping that behavior, making them keep the right amount of profit in the country and pay the right amount of tax in countries like Uzbekistan. And because Uzbekistan is opening up to the investments, to do the world trade and business internationally, these problems will be happening more and more. And the risk is, if you don't do it properly, that companies will come and make a lot of profit, but that profit will not be taxed here. And what happens, the challenge could be that you will not take advantage of the possibility to collect the resources that will be necessary for development in Uzbekistan. And then you wake up and those companies may, for example, if they are mining companies, they can fully mine your minerals, but they may pay very little tax here. They make a lot of profit somewhere else and you get nothing out of it. So that's a challenge for the countries, and that's where we try to help together with my colleagues to make sure that this problem is prevented, or if it is already happening, that it's solved to correct it. There are indeed big differences, and one of the differences will be, for example, the level of development. I currently live and work in France, and France as a European country is very developed in many aspects. You can see it, of course, on infrastructure, the quality of roads, quality of public service. On the other side, you may have countries which are very much developing countries. I don't think Uzbekistan is undeveloped. I think there is a lot of progress which has been already made. But of course, you can still see a big difference on how things could be developed and where, for example, a country like Uzbekistan is. So there's still a lot of potential for growth, and that growth, I would say, would affect many, especially public services that may be available for people. Good schools, good hospitals, good infrastructure. And of course, you can see also changing of the economy activity. So, and that can be quite important for every country, that they can unlock the potential that the global business may provide, or global trade, because country can transform from being a country which is primarily producing primary goods like cotton or just minerals, into a country which can be processing it and turning it into a finished product. And there can be significant added value made in the process. But that added value creates employment, jobs, a lot of knowledge transfer that country can benefit from. So that could be perhaps one way to answer your question. But I have seen countries which are really struggling, and they are very, very undeveloped. And you see it, very bad roads, hardly any good schools, hardly any good hospitals. So. But Uzbekistan is somewhere in between. So I already saw a lot of progress in the last 10, 15 years.
our closed sports hall, it can be fit more than 100 students. Students can take part in many sport competitions and in tournaments.
My name is 𝐅𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐜𝐚𝐥 𝐈𝐧𝐬𝐭𝐢𝐭. I'm a student of Fiscal Institute. I have been studying here for 2 years, and there are such things which I found very admirable, like our teachers are very experienced and they have the ability to bond with the students. Complex is very comfortable and highly adequate. In my free times, I like reading books, so after lessons I go to the library with my friends. We make debates and talk about upcoming projects. Our institute is different from other institutes because after graduating, we can find a good job at tax fairs. In the future, I want to be a patriotic tax inspector for our country.
I would like to introduce myself. My name is 𝐅𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐜𝐚𝐥 I have graduated Webster University and I have been working here for 2 years. These 2 years were very amazing for me because I have gained a lot of experience as well as I get acquainted with qualified teachers. So one more additional information about this summer, that it was very fantastic for me as I had a chance with my colleagues to go to the abroad. I mean, we have an internship in the UK at Warwick University. You know that the Warwick University is the top universities in the country, and we have professional development course there for 2 weeks. And during these 4 weeks, we exchanged with information, with the knowledge, with other teachers, with other instructors, and I got a lot of knowledge from them. I learned about methodologies, techniques, and approaches. So the first methodology that was new for me is blended learning, and it's a style of learning that is mixture of face-to-face learning as well as online. So it will be like hybrid learning. And in other words, it's a flipped learning. So this teaching of style helps the teachers to make lessons more interactive and more interesting because firstly they will give their presentations and lectures for the students to be assigned and be viewed before the class. So it means that they will be ready for the lesson. And also the other methods that were used a lot is CLT, communicative language teaching, and audiolingual method. These methods were very effective for us and from these methods I learned a lot, and I'm trying now to use them for my students.
Fiscal Institute has 2 dormitories. They feed more than 900 students. It has high convenience for our students. So, dear audience, today's our journey around the Fiscal Institute has come to an end. And I hope that you got all information which is important for yourselves. And thank you for your attention. Goodbye.